Hello, my name's Lisa. I'd like to welcome you to my home. This is my channel about stitching, where I talk about anything between cross stitch to quilting, sometimes rug hooking, sometimes punch needle, anything that I've kind of been up to. I've been thinking a lot about wool applique, and so I just show any of those things that I've been up to. So it's been a couple of weeks since my last video, and I've done a little bit of finishing in the meantime, so I would like to share that with you. And I did a little bit of quilting, and anyway, did some framing, so we'll get started on what I've been up to. Hope you guys have been creating and doing all the fun things. It's been hot here, so I've just been hanging out inside. And I've come to the conclusion that I need to start some more projects because I don't really have anything that I'm excited about working on necessarily. There's one thing, but it's a Christmas thing, and that was just for Christmas in July. So now I'm like, I need some more whips. So, anywho, let me get my thoughts together and we'll start with the finishes. Okay, so last time I had talked that I was going to try to spend a Saturday doing some finishing, and so I actually got in there and I got about 5 things finished, I think. And so the first one was a little freebie, and I mentioned the name of the freebie in my last video. I forgot to bring that paper out, but I don't recall who the freebie was by, but if you're really interested, it was in my last one. And so, and I wasn't quite in the finishing thing, and I actually put my little heart to cover up my opening. I put it upside down, but I thought, who cares? We're just getting started, right? So that was the first thing. And then I had also done another freebie, and this one was from Plum Street, and it normally says 4th of July spelled out at the bottom, but I left that part off because I just wanted a little pillow. I just put a few little buttons on the back and finished it like that. This is like a velvet that I had. And then, so then I thought, well, okay, the juices are flowing. It's not going too bad, so let's try the heart. So I had done the freebie from Sabrosa, and I decided instead of making it a pillow, I thought I would put it on a little spool. And the plan was to put it in a little candlestick, but I hadn't made the opening big enough at the bottom to fit any candle up in there. So I just shoved this little, I think they're kind of like a bobbin spool. So I just shoved it in there. I used some gray velvet on the back. I didn't cover up my little hole yet in my hole for the stuffing. But something that I learned, and I like to share tips whenever, and I knew this, but I was just being lazy. But I didn't cut into the seam allowance at the top around the curve, and I knew that I should do that. But this was and especially with this, because this is really kind of stiff velvet. So anyway, I had the hardest time trying to get this smoothed out, and I know it was just because I didn't clip my seams, but it was so hard to turn it out to begin with. So anyway, I just shoved the little spool thing up inside and called it a day. I just used some of this twill tape and made a bow. I did a little button with some, a little bulb pin with red, white, and blue buttons. And then she had her hands kind of on the sides, and I thought it needed something, so I just strung some buttons between her hands. That wasn't the the pattern, but that's what I did to kind of jazz that up a little bit. So I'm happy with how it turned out. I've got it up in my hutch, and anyway, it looks cute. And then I had another cross stitch that I think it's by Silver Creek Samplings. It's called Liberty Hill. And I had this finished for quite a while, and my plan was to make a drum out of it. But then I thought of this little piece that I got at the thrift store. It's normally meant to go this way, and it was on a little stand. But I thought, well, that'll work for this. So I just kind of put it at an angle and did another little bulb pin with some buttons. And so, anyway, so I was able to get that one finished. That had been done for a long, long time and was just sitting in the pile. So that felt good. And so that was what I did on that Saturday. That was pretty much all I had played around with then. But then last weekend, I did a little bit more. And so I did some framing. This is called Hol Farms by Stacy Nash. I had just changed all my colors on this, and I had just used some fabric that I had tea dyed, and it's not in there absolutely perfect just because the fabric didn't have it finished square. It was more of a rectangle. Anyway, this frame I just got for like $1 at the thrift store, and so it's not in there permanently. I just thought, well, until I find something better, this will be okay. So I had fits with this one. I started, if you've been here before, you might remember, I started the green in the grass, and then I took the thread out of my bag, and I didn't know what color I used. And so then when I was trying to find my other colors, it was not the right shade. But I thought, well, I'll just try to make it my take on variegated, I guess. So I just purposely tried to do other shades. So anyway, I like how it finished, so I'm happy. I think I'm going to put this in my bedroom. I'm not sure. And then last night, I just had a few minutes. I actually had the whole day, but I had farted around and didn't get anything major accomplished, and I was starting to feel bummed out about it. And so I went in and I decided to try to finish this one. This one is by Plum Street. It's called A Gentleman's Daughter. And I had finished the stitching on this a long time ago. And I ran across this frame, and it's another type of deal where it's not the right size. It's a little bit too close on the top and the bottom, but it was 50 cents, and so until I get something better, it's good enough. So this is another one that I had lots of fun on my thread choices. But anyway, trial and miss, and thought I had the right lighter green, but then it didn't show up on the linen. And I think it's an R&R. I'm not sure if it's Brenda's Brew or something along that lines. I used Parchment for the House by Weeks. And it's funny, I had done the green in the berry basket. I had done that in a real chartreuse green. And I had done this tree in that same green. And I kept saying, oh, it'll be fine, but I really hated it. And so I ended up, instead of ripping it out, I just went over it with another different shade of green. So you can kind of see just little hints of that chartreuse green coming through. But it really makes it look pretty. So, but anyway, I used all my own colors on this, and it was a struggle because I just couldn't find the right greens. It's funny how when you hold up a skein of one and a skein of another, and you think, oh, there's a lot of difference in between there. It'll definitely show up the difference. But then when you get down to one strand, and it's something I also knew, but I just wasn't paying attention. And so anyway, but I've got quite a few finishes, so I was pretty excited. So after the video, I decided to try to go through my whips and see if I had anything Christmassy. And so I had started Yuletime Delivery by Plum Street. I believe this was one of those that I did 12 by 12 on New Year's. I had just gotten started on it, and I just did, oh, this is going to be hard because I can't get my shoulder up high enough to show it to you. So anyway, I just done the top two pieces of the tree, and so I decided to just go to town on it. So I finished the tree and did the snowflakes, and then I went up and did the sign and went down the pole to the sled and did the sled, and then I filled in most of the girl, Mrs. Claus. So anyway, I'm liking how this turned out. This is Fabrics by Stephanie, and it's driftwood. And I'm just using mostly, yeah, it's all DMC, I think. These are my colors. And so far they're all showing up pretty good. But I have decided instead of doing a lot of the trees in the same green, I think they're all supposed to be in the same green. I'm not real crazy about this darkest green, so I'm going to try to do the trees. I mean, I'll do another one for sure in this green, but then I think I'm going to try to bring in a couple other shades of green just to jazz it up. Hopefully I'll find one that I like. So that was a whip. I think I worked on it like 3 evenings. And then on another evening, I thought about the little strawberry that was by Sabrosa that goes with this little piece. She had done a free strawberry that would go with it. And so I went ahead and stitched it up. And so I'm hoping to finish that up here in my next finishing day and make that into a strawberry. I think that'll be pretty. But those two things are the only thing that I stitched on this time. Like I said, I need to get some other things ready to start because I need some variety. So then last week I was watching Jordan, the Tattooed Stitcher. If you haven't watched her channel is incredible. I love all of the projects she works on, and then she always does like movies that she's watching, which I really enjoy, getting her recommendations on movies. And so she was talking about she was going to start, she wanted to do a quilting project. That was one of her plans. And she was going to be doing a book by, not a book, she was going to do a block out of a Lori Holt book. She was going to do this little cherry, and she was going to make it into a sewing machine cover, I believe. And so this is the block. So I thought, well, that would be fun. I haven't done any quilting in forever. I mean, really forever. And I thought, I need to go and just try it and see how I can do. So I cut my pieces out and I started stitching, and I started with the leaves, and they turned out okay. But then when I went to do this part with the stems, honest to Pete, I've never had so much trouble with a block, and it's still far from perfect, but it's good enough. I don't know what I just wasn't in the right frame of mind, I guess. but I had to completely cut those pieces out 3 different times and restitch them because they were so far off. But anyway, I persevered, and then even after on the 3rd time, I still knew they weren't perfect because this one's thicker than this one, and I've never had so much trouble. So, and it was really short on the sides. It wasn't the same size. And I knew I was going to be cutting off points in the leaf, but I thought, I don't care. But anyway, I'm excited. It did turn out cute. And I'm just planning on making just a little tiny thing to go in my pantry, just to kind of nestle in with some other things that I have hanging up in there. I have like a red bundt pan and just some other pantry kind of things in there. So I thought, well, that would look cute to add in. So the only bad thing is it's right in my baking area where I have like my little mixer. I used to have a stand mixer, but it broke, and so now I just have my little hand mixer in there. But I have visions of me splashing batter on that block, but we'll see. Hopefully it will live. Hi, Sarah. My dog's just staring at me like, who are you talking to? Okay, so that's pretty much my finishes and what I've been stitching and what I was quilting. And then I decided to, I had borrowed some books from my friend Loretta. She has a couple of Buttermilk Basin books. And so I was looking at them because I think it's time to start fall stuff. I'm definitely done with patriotic for this year. And I have some other things that I need to finish that are summer related. I have a bunch of things that are like the little bee pillows from from Primrose Cottage. So I have about 3 or 4 of those to finish into pillows. And then I have my Summer Breeze by Prairie Schooler. So I'm kind of done with even summer. I think it's just time to switch into fall. So, but anyway, I'm excited. I feel like the creative juices are starting to move around again. So I'm not saying that they're flowing, but they're moving. So my plan was to try to do a little tour of my patriotic stuff because it won't be long. Now that it's August, I believe I'll start to, as soon as I have my summer cross-stitch things finished, then I will switch my decor out a little bit and do more of a bee summer theme. But so I thought I would show it to you. And it's funny, I kept putting this video off because I wanted to make sure, every area was put together, and, just in case I moved the camera wrong a little bit, you wouldn't see like my dish drainer and, the stuff that's on my counter that's not put away. And so I've been putting this video off for a few days, and I've just decided I'm just gonna cross my fingers and hope that I can get the camera in just the good spots. And then I just want you guys to just promise that if you happen to see the messy parts that are all around, that you try to forget them. They could be traumatizing, but just try to let that go. Okay, so let me get my big old hiney up off this couch, and I'll show you around. Okay, so this is my hutch. I kind of changed it out a little bit. Oops, I forgot one thing. Hold on. Okay, I forgot Liberty Hill. Okay, so then here's my hutch, like I said, and I'll move in closer to try to show you each little area. It's such a dreary day here today. Sorry about the poor lighting. So anyway, that's how that turned out. So my hutch. Okay, and then here's behind my couch. I just draped a flag over this crate that I had and just put the rest of the flag down on the ironing board. And then this is Patriotic Poppies by Brenda Gervais. And then I just have some sheep. But I thought that turned out cute. I have a little bit of a patriotic quilt that I made. And I have the U up there. It's a USA sign, but the SA fell off. And I forgot about that before I turned record on. So anyway, there's that part. Then on my island, I have a little piece by Brenda Gervais. It's called Basket Full of Summertime. Just have that in a little basket with a flag. And then I have Stars and Stripes, which was a freebie from Stitching with the Housewives. It was a bonus, I guess you would call it. I think it came in Home of the Brave. All right, let me go around to the dining room table. So here's my dining room table. I have Liberty Inn, and it's on real dark fabric. It's Driftwood by Fabrics by Stephanie. Oh, it's so dark. I turned a light on, but I don't think it helped any. Then on one of my cabinets, I just have some of my blue dishes. So between the quilt and the blue, I thought it kind of brought out red, white, and blue. And then this is another part of my island. I have a tiered tray. So I just had some pinkish red dishes. I have a couple freebies. I have a blackbird design. And then I just have a little greenhouse type thing. And then probably the final spot, I have another one by Blackbird Design. I just put it on. I made some, I sewed some strips of fabric together and quilted it on my machine. And then I just put that over a piece of foam core because I didn't have a frame the exact right size. Then I just put a couple strawberries on there. And then I have Happy Birthday America by Brenda Gervais, which still needs its pom-pom trim. I'm hoping that will get finished this year too. Okay, so that's pretty much the only areas that I really decorated this year for Patriotic. I got a late start, and so I finished really late also, but that's okay. At least I feel good that I was able to get the majority of the things that I stitched this year finished, and I'll be all ready for next year ahead of the game. So I hope whatever you're doing is bringing you joy. I thank you for joining me, and thanks for all the nice comments. I really appreciate how everybody said they had missed me and they were glad I made a video. So I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. I hope I got back to everybody who had left a message. And anyway, thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful couple of weeks before I get back to you. And wish me luck. Hopefully I'll get some more accomplished. Take care.